So, welcome to the Party Invite podcast, where we strive to bring together a diverse group of enthusiasts to play, discuss, and enjoy everything video games. I am Vilos, your party leader for tonight, and with me is SovereignSyd.
Hello. How y'all doing?
And tonight we're gonna discuss the current trends in video game pricing, as I put in the title here, i.e., it's changing. Lot of stuff is constantly turbulent in the gaming industry, and pricing is definitely one of those things right now. So we'll definitely go over a few different things on that topic later. But we're gonna go ahead and start with what we've been playing. So I'll go ahead and start real quick on my lesser title here. Um, I played about 3 or 4 hours of this game called Boreal Tenebrae. It's as obtuse as the name suggests. um, so I do suggest that you at least look up this game, Boreal Tenebrae. Oh, sorry, that's
Oh, this is a Memoir Blue, isn't
Memoir
it?
Blue.
We got it.
It's all good. Boreal Tenebrae is actually a game that I think officially released on PC like a year and a half ago or something like that, maybe 2 years ago, and it had this prolonged thing that it was in early access and had this demo episode sort of thing going on. Um, if you're familiar with Cronenberg films uh, or David Lynch films, like this might be your jam. I was intrigued by the art style. It's very cool, very um, like '90s aesthetic to me.
Yeah, I was
The
gonna
the
say I really
3D
like the
art's
art
a little
direction
different.
here.
Yeah, and it's like it's attractive in its clunky sort of way. But then you play the game, and oh boy, clunky in literally all respects. Uh, this is a game that I ended up putting back on my backlog,
Oh
unfortunately,
no.
um, because it. If you are familiar with a David Lynch film, like experiencing that in game form, you might, if you think about it, you'll be like, "Oh shit, yeah, that actually could be horrible." Because this game is as vague as it comes. You've got multiple characters that you literally get no introduction to. You're just playing them. And you just switch in between these different characters at different times, and there's no reasoning for it. Like there's a couple moments there's a couple moments that actually make sense, but a lot of the time you're just like, but why though? And it's very minimalistic as a game. There's very few things to do. Uh and it's a game that's a 3D world with almost nothing to actually interact with, but it's kind of like a really small time point and click. You just walk a bit and click on whatever you can click on, basically. And that may be picking up a cassette tape to look at or to listen to later, or picking up a videotape to look at later. But at the end of the day, it's so clunky. Like everything moves so slowly as far as your character goes. There's so many like clipping issues, or like some screenshots I shared on my Twitter. There's sometimes the art style makes it literally impossible to see what you're doing. There was this moment that, and this whole thing is like a surreal adventure anyway. This one moment you're in a factory, and the factory turns into a forest, and the second you get into the forest, it's just these green triangles that are covering up the screen in its entirety. And it took me a solid 15 seconds of moving my stick around to realize where I was in this dense forest.
Oh
Um,
jeez.
and I was just surprised by the little things like that, that were just constant. But the real kicker was that the overly simplistic save system. It's got an autosave and then two save slots. Um, the autosave is apparently instant, So if you load up from the autosave, it saves again immediately. And so if something went wrong on your autosave, you're screwed when you load it back in.
What?
And so the last time I played it, I had, like I said, I had about 3.5 to 4 hours of gameplay in, and I pressed to exit the area, and when it does that, it comes up with just a little screen, and it gives you your options. And it gave me my 2 options, except it didn't give me a cursor to choose either of those options.
Oh dear.
And I sat there for 10 minutes trying to get the game to do anything. And so I had to just exit out and get back on. And this was on Switch, uh, which it just released on like 2 weeks ago. And the second I was back, it had auto saved to that moment. And when I loaded it, black screen.
Oh,
That's it. Just a black screen. It would do nothing. Absolutely nothing. And
it's just trying to help, you know. Just it wants to make sure you
the
get like
worst part.
the most accurate game state.
In some games that would that would work, but man, I cannot tell you how frustrated I was because it's one of those things where it's a narrative game, even though it's very, very surreal and very dreamlike. The whole thing is, uh, it being narrative based, you kind of have to do everything in order. I can't just skip that 3 hours worth of work to get back to where I was. So I just said, maybe they'll patch it in a few weeks or months. It's a very, very indie game, so maybe, but um, I'll just put it on the shelf. Come back to it later, I guess.
Who is the publisher? Because I saw it came out on like itch.io as well. So it's
Hmm.
not like a big quote unquote big indie publisher. Is it like Devolver Digital? Like
No,
who's
it's
pushing it out?
not. I'm trying to remember. I'll have to look that back up. Actually, I had it down somewhere. Um, yeah, it Red Deer Games is the publisher. Um, Snot Bubbles Productions was the developer. So yeah, they're not huge in the slightest, but the publisher actually did do Cyber Protocol, so that was a
Oh, fun.
decent game. Um, so yeah, I think they just missed the mark on the Switch port, I guess. Although I did go through the Steam reviews and there were a lot of similar bugs for a lot of reviews. I think it was recently patched for the PC um, to be a little bit better. But this is the definitive edition on Switch. Apparently, it took a long time on PC to get to that point. So
Huh.
maybe one day.
How that's really funny that the definitive edition is the one with all of the bugs still.
Yeah,
This is the experience we want
really
y'all to have.
it really made me sad when I looked through all the reviews and stuff afterwards. Because yes, I did get it because it was on sale. That's part of the topic that we'll talk about. Because it was $2, and of course, I had $2 worth of coins on my Switch account. So I was like, you know what? There's nothing to lose really there. Um, so at the end of the day, I still come out ahead. You know.
There you go. Yeah, because you basically got it for free.
Yeah. But we'll get into my other game because it's a much better game. Uh, on the next one here, though. What have you been up to?
I have been playing. Well, I dove back into an old classic, one of my old favorites. Um, I'm gonna change the. I think it might be a good idea to keep the game in the title as well. But yeah, I have been playing Century Age of Ashes again. Oh my lord. Y'all need to
New
get up in
Dragon?
this. You need to get up in this dragon game. It's how to train your dragons, but like in video game form. Like I don't know. I don't know what else to say about it. It's so much fun. But I wanted to get my dragon on, and they just finished up a new event called like the Crimson something. I can't remember exactly what it was, but it was another one of those events where you play through a certain amount of days, and you earn rewards and cosmetics and things like that, special titles and such. Um, but yeah, like for as long as I've been waiting for this game to come out, I it kind of fell by the wayside for me really quickly, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna hop back into this because I missed that rush of just swooshing through the air, chasing people down, and shooting them out the sky with the fireballs. I wanted that adrenaline again. So I hopped back in, and I'm so glad I did because it's just I I don't know. It's a good time sink. It's kind of like Road Company for me in that way, where I'll play a few games and just to like pass some time, jump back in and like refresh myself and things, see what's different, see what's new, and then go back to like Pokemon Unite or something. um, but yeah, so they just finished that event up. I'm not sure if there's anything else coming out soon, to replace that, or if it's just gonna go back to like regular gameplay, because they don't really have like seasons of stuff like Road Company does, as far as I'm aware. So it's just like special periodic events that happen.
I think it would be really cool if they use that engine to do some funky things. Like a all I can think of because of like Lair and the classic dragon riding games. It's like it would be so funny if they had something like a fun little time trial rush thing, like maybe like killing civilians or something like that. Like there's a field or something, and you have to kill a certain number of them in a certain time span, or you're competing to do that. Like little stuff like that, I think would be so cool in that engine. That like the base of that game is so cool. I feel like it opens so many options up.
It's weird that you say that because, like, now that I'm thinking about it, the Dragon Riders are really the only characters that we see. There's like no ambient, like, we see all these beautiful locations, we see giant castles, we see, sprawling canyons and things like that. But, like, they're uninhabited. There's like no one else there.
Right.
Which I guess would make sense because, like, if dragons are flying around shooting fire at each other, I wouldn't want to stick around for that either. So,
But I mean, they've got all those little like the flags and the bases and stuff like that, right? So I feel like there's a little more to the world that could be explored for sure.
oh yeah. I mean, considering it's like in the Nordic, like, mythology. At least I think so.
Mhm.
It could be Celtic, but I'm pretty sure it's Nordic. Because all of the names have names like Fjord. So I couldn't think of anything.
I'm
So
sure if I looked at it right now, there would be a fjord on the roster. Yeah.
yeah, well, maybe there will be now. Hey, I'll put it in the game. Custom creation content.
Oh, please do.
So yeah, I'm pretty sure that it's Nordic inspired. So they have a lot to choose from. I'm actually really surprised that I haven't seen anything about the life tree yet because if any kind of media at all is Nordic for like the tiniest 0.0001%, they're like Yggdrasil. Or I guess it's Yggdrasil, whatever, tree of life.
Yeah. Yeah.
But they out there, they're just like, how about a little bit of that branch? Give me a little, give me some
Literally
love.
every JRPG, like I know exactly what you're talking
Oh my
about.
god, Tales of Symphonia even falls for it. That's like one of my favorite JRPGs, and of course they have to have Yggdrasil in it. I'm like, how and
Hmm.
why?
Yep.
Is that even
Called
like?
Elysium and Xenoblade, like it's everywhere. It needs to be in Dragon Game.
I'm sure it is somewhere like in the lore, like in the text, because a lot of the stuff that you find out is like through like tooltips and like reading bios and stuff. You don't really get to see any of the lore of the game during the gameplay or anything like that.
Mhm.
Mostly because you're like swooshing around and stuff. But um, I'm sure somewhere something mentions it just like in passing randomly. But maybe we'll get a skin inspired by it. They have really beautiful cosmetics in there. One of my favorite skins, which I don't own because I missed it in the shop, because this is
Yeah.
during the time when I was like trying to save money, which is what we'll be talking about today. Uh, it just like cycled through, but it's like a monarch inspired skin, like a monarch butterfly.
Oh,
So
nice.
it's a dragon, but with like monarch butterfly patterning and
Hmm.
coloration. It's still cool looking. I hope it comes back. But yeah, that's one of the games that I've been playing. What else have you been playing?
Well, mine is called a Memoir Blue, and anybody that has Game Pass has to pick this game up.
It's of course it's Game Pass, of course.
But the great thing about it is it's also barely an hour long. But I tell you, it is an experience. Um,
Oh, I did it
it
again. I copied the wrong link. Hold on, we got this.
we're gonna get the right video
Consistency,
up here.
consistency.
Yeah, and the video that we're putting up is actually from my playthrough. So it's not really unique technically because there's very few unique things that you can do in the game. It's a very heavy narrative game. Like I
It's
said, barely an
gorgeous.
hour long. It's absolutely beautiful. Oh my god, it's such a tearjerker. Especially if you have like mommy issues. If you have mommy issues or you know, I talk about these kind of games all the time, but grief stories are a big thing for me, and that's what this is. Um, it's a the writer actually based the story off of her own true stuff. So the basis of this game is that your main character is a swimmer that's achieved high honors. Like she's got it. It's set up like she's an Olympian. I don't know if that part was actually the real story. If she was an Olympian or just a competitive swimmer, but beside the point, um, she is a very successful competitive swimmer, and the whole thing is about her dealing with the loss of her mother, or at least the loss of her relationship with her mother, because of how she was pushed to do what she had to do to become this successful person. When she and her mom had to leave the family relationship that they had because of a not so great daddy thing. Um, but it's this absolutely surreal, beautiful story. As you can see in the video for those on Twitch right now, it's just got very simple puzzles that you have to solve that are very narrative based. Like this one right here is just moving these planks onto a bridge so you can walk across and get to the next area. It's very touch based kind of thing. It's probably on mobile. I think it has touch controls on Game Pass available as well. But it's a really beautiful story. I don't want to ruin it. And like I said, it being an hour long, the story can be told in like 2 seconds. But your main character coming to terms with her relationship with her mother is very striking, very heartfelt, very real. Despite this whole thing being very dreamy, and it's just a really great experience to go through. I can't recommend it enough. Um, playing so many emotional games and grief based stories lately. This one still got me. Like I was sobbing for real at multiple points in this story. It's fantastic. And for those of you that also are achievement hunters, the achievement list is actually pretty easy to get. Like you could technically do all the achievements in the first playthrough. I didn't because I wanted to take the narrative beats as they were. But like this part of the video right there, you're handing this money to this person that's going to get you a boat trip, and you can actually like not give them the money. The hand like keeps moving, and you keep moving it away from them, and that's an achievement. I have to go back and play it to get that one. But
That's so much fun.
yeah, there's all kinds of cool little things like that. And there's a couple little secrets to find throughout each level. It's like 5 or 6 levels in the entirety of the thing, but it's absolutely beautiful. Just go experience it. Just be prepared to have the tissues, because man, it'll get you.
I really
Uh,
love when people make things that are inspired by their own lives. Like
mhm.
I recently learned that Everything Everywhere All at Once, I think is what it's called. I can never remember the whole title, but I'm pretty sure that's it.
Yeah,
That
you're
movie
right.
that just came out with Michelle Yeoh was inspired by, like real happenings, like life, of the director's life. Or, I'm not sure if this director, but director or the writer, one of them.
Mhm.
Turning Red, the Disney Pixar movie with the red panda. The creator of that, it was based on her, experiences in childhood. I mean, obviously she didn't really turn to a panda, but it's inspired by
Yeah, the family
that.
traditions and stuff like that were a very real thing. Yeah.
It like really just lends this authenticity and relatability to the media. And so you really become connected and you feel strongly about what you're watching, what you're playing. So just that little bit of extra like personal care and love can really make all the difference when it comes to something, especially like this. When it's a grief story, that that's just really powerful.
Mhm. And it starts off it starts off harsh, because you're in your apartment, like, alone, but it
Like always.
it's but, like, once you're out of what's technically the menu, uh, it takes you, like, a couple frames, and then, you're this girl with all these medals around her neck, and you're just clicking, and every time you click, it's a different flashbulb popping, and you have to pop it like 100 times before the scene will actually move on. And she's just like, it's like every flashbulb pop is like impacting her like a gunshot. Like she's just like flying all over and just getting emotional right there. It's phenomenal.
Wow. Where can you said you could get this on mobile and where else? Game Pass?
I think it's everywhere, but definitely Game Pass. Pretty sure it's on Steam and everything. Um, let's see here.
And I didn't mention, but Century Age of Ashes is free to play on Steam. For listeners who do not know where to find it.
Yes, and a Memoir Blue is literally on everything: Switch, Xbox, PlayStation, PC, and of course, it was published by Annapurna because
Of course it was.
that's what they do.
Yeah. Was Are they responsible for Grease as well? Or am I thinking of someone else?
That's Devolver
Revolver.
actually on that one,
What else
but
do I know that they
no,
did?
Annapurna is a lot of cinematic stuff. But as a like more recently, Artful Escape, Solar Ash, some of the big stuff more recently. But
Okay.
Annapurna does a lot of movies. They also did 12 Minutes, which some uh, we have some experience
Some
with that
opinions
game.
on.
Yeah, but they do bring a lot of great stuff out too. But
Cool.
yeah, that's mostly all I've been playing. I started, or I came back to continuing Tokyo Mirage Sessions, um, since I beat Xenoblade One the other day, or a couple weeks ago, I guess. Um, but Tokyo Mirage Sessions, I'm about 12 to 15 hours away from beating that too. So my JRPG mission for this year is going strong, especially now that we know that Xenoblade 3 is moved up by 2 freaking months. And man,
Yeah, like what a surprise, like a pleasant one and welcome and everything, but also for the people who are planning for that first release date,
yeah,
now they're probably like in a tizzy, like what are they gonna
yeah.
do? What are you gonna do?
There's been a lot of people being like, "Oh, I'm gonna play Xenoblade 1 and 2 before 3 comes out," and it's like, "Bitch, no, you are not."
Not anymore.
Like,
I mean, I guess if you get started now, you probably
oh my
could.
god, you theoretically could, but by the time you got to 3, you'd just be dead because those games are heavy.
It's been 84 years.
Exactly. And technically, there would be 4 games to play, to
Because of
actually get to
the
Xenoblade
Torna,
3.
what's it called?
Yeah, Torn of the Golden Country for 2, and then there's, Xenoblade Chronicles X, which technically does have some references in these games right now, so uh, the Xeno fans are seeing a lot of influence of Xenoblade Chronicles X in 3, so it's a lot.
Huh.
It's a lot.
Well, good luck to those people. And you, because I know that you're one of those people.
Yeah, I'm just happy that I have finished everything but Torna, so I'll get on that after Tokyo Mirage Sessions, I'm quite sure.
Cool.
Yeah. What's your next game?
Well, it's actually something new. I get on here almost every week and I'm like, oh, I've just been playing the same old 5 games that I've been playing for like, since I was born. But
Wow.
now, hold on, I got push to talk, but I also have to like type, so this is difficult.
Type to talk. And thanks for dropping by, Russ, by the way. Good to see you here, as always.
Ta-da! Okay. So, what I've been playing actually is a new game that just came out. It is called Kirby: The Forgotten Land.
What?
I know. I mean, it's a new game, right? But it's still Nintendo because y'all know who I am. So, it's actually a lot of fun. I've been playing with Bowser. We originally were going to be playing like we wanted something that we could play together because we haven't been like doing a lot of stuff recently, together. And one day he was just like, "Hey, so I bought you a present that I'm gonna say it's for you, but it's really for me." And I was like, "Oh, it's Kirby, isn't it?" Because he did the same
Yeah.
thing with Metroid Dread. So,
Oh man. At
uh,
least this one has co-op though.
yeah, yeah. I actually still haven't even played Metroid Dread myself because I just got my kicks from watching him play it. Um, but playing this together has been a lot of fun. You know, it's got that lovely Kirby charm. The music is very definitively Kirby. Like I could close my eyes and I'm like, yep, that's a Kirby game. Very whimsical. We only completed like the first world together, but it kind of reminds me of Super Mario 3D Land in that each world has like secret zones that you can open up by collecting. In this case, it would be Waddle Dees that you have to save throughout the game. So they're like secret zones that open up challenges, kind of like in Super Mario Sunshine, like platforming challenges and time trials and time attacks and all that. So they really like it's a Kirby game, but it's very Mario-fied, you know. What's really neat is that one of the mechanics that you can do in the game, and I'm not sure if they show this in the trailer that we're watching right now on screen, for those who are watching, but you can actually evolve some of your copy abilities. So, for instance, I got an upgrade for the weapon shop that let me evolve my cutter ability into a chakram cutter ability. And I'm not sure if I've said this on the pod before, but chakram is like my absolute favorite weapon in all of time forever.
It is pretty great, and Kirby's are fantastic.
So yeah, like the hat goes from like the scimitar blade on top to like two little chakram crescents, and then he just throws two of them at once, and you can hold them in place, and they circle and power up and everything, and it's just so cool. I'm really excited to see what other abilities I can upgrade because I don't think you can upgrade all of them. Just major ones. I know for sure you can do sword and fire. Because I upgraded fire, so instead of like the regular fireballs, you can shoot like lava rocks now. And then I
Oh, nice.
upgraded cutter. So as we progress, we'll unlock more abilities, and then we'll find more blueprints to upgrade them and everything. But it's fun. Like it's so far, it starts off easy because it's a Kirby game, but I know we're gonna be fighting God or something soon, so it's likely gonna ramp up in the old classic Kirby way, and I'm looking forward to it because I haven't played a really, really, really good Kirby game that's gripped me since Triple Deluxe. I want to say on the
I
3DS.
was gonna say the same thing. That's the last one I played besides the demo for this.
Hmm.
So, and that's still like a game that you can beat within 4 hours. So, uh, I mean, this
Well,
looks phenomenal.
Kirby games aren't just designed to be beaten. You can't just
True.
be beating them. You gotta be completing them. So bars on bars. Uh-oh, camera.
Oh, we're good. It does that
Oh, it's
after
doing
like
the
an
thing.
hour. Yeah.
See, that's what happens when you get a fancy camera. It's got to take a break to clutch its pearls and whatnot.
Hmm.
Excuse me while I polish my lens. Oh. Uh, but no, I'm like the way that they've structured it. Each level, you have the main objective, and then you have like the secret ones, which are actually secret until you accomplish them. So they've got like achievements in the game, which give you more wildies to unlock. And they have like a gotcha machine where you can pop open like a figurines for like gachapon toys. So all of these elements that are just designed to just give you all the dopamine in the world. You got achievements and you got gotcha. And then also Kirby himself is just like a dopamine machine. So it's just a
That's
fun little
true.
happy game for now. I Once you cross over to the dark side, I don't know what's gonna happen.
I mean, yeah, it's still one of those games that basically doesn't have failures. So I've watched so many reviews of it. I've actually watched the ending. I'm not gonna spoil anything, but yeah, um it's just one of those perfect things that you can sit down and just not worry in the slightest, but it's still physically satisfying, right?
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I do wanna play it. It's gonna be one of those Black Friday purchases for me, I think, but I mean, it's still probably gonna be $45,
Yeah.
but um, at the end of the day, yeah, like just like the last Yoshi game, Kirby's I don't
Crafted World.
usually, yeah, Kirby's I don't usually buy day one, but I feel like I buy one every generation, and it usually satisfies for way too long, like way longer than I anticipate. So
Yeah. Well, that's what it
I'm
is.
sure
It's
it'll
the
be worth
dopamine
it.
issue. You got to get all of the 100% completion and everything. And they bait you into it because they put the percentage of completion on the files, like save. So it's just like every time you start up the game, it's just like, oh, you're only at 23%. You better get on that. Like,
I mean, when the game has your main enemy as like what they're like corgis, basically. Like,
they're described as canine almost. They're like corgi foxes, kind of. Yeah.
yeah. Oh my god.
They're
Like the
super cute
videos of
though.
people talking about them just like sleeping in the background, like you don't even have to fight half of them until you like get in their way and they're like, oh shit, I should probably hit Kirby or something.
They are kind of lazy as an enemy. There's a level that's a mall, like in the first world, there's a shopping mall that you can go through, and you'll see a couple of them just having lunch in the cafeteria, like in the food court, and you can actually steal their lunch to like heal, but they don't do anything when you do that because
Oh,
they're just on a little date. They're just having a good
nice.
time before you know you come along and ruin everything with your gluttony.
Gotta get that mouthful.
Yeah, I would recommend. I mean, I know it's like a full price Nintendo game, but I would actually recommend getting the Forgotten Land because I've only just played the first world and I want to play more. Like Kirby games have a really big like good way of like hooking you in. I don't know what they put in them. It's crap, but uh, it's just I just want to keep playing. So we'll see. What I think is really cool is that all of the enemies we do make fun of them for like progressively getting more and more like ridiculous, like fighting deities and whatnot. But
Mhm.
one of the like character designers for the Kirby franchise is like a horror artist. Doesn't that explain so much? When I learned that, I was just like, oh,
I
got
mean,
it.
when you look at what was I don't remember if they officially gave the character a name, but the Master Hand in the new Smash Bros. Did they name that
Are you talking about
enemy?
Galeem and Darkon?
Like the whole angelic thing that
Yeah,
you're
Galeem.
fighting. Okay.
There's Galeem,
Yeah.
the angelic one, and then its twin, which is Darkon,
Okay. Gotcha. Yeah,
which is like the evilly one.
it's the same person that designed that. So yeah,
That makes so
that's
much
wild.
sense. I wonder if he designed Taboo as well. Taboo's not really scary, but oh my god, is he just like overwhelmingly intimidating? So that's so fun. I mean, I guess it makes sense because Smash is done by HAL Laboratory, the same people responsible for Kirby and Kid Icarus. So
Gotta love it. Tonight's party topic is actually a little bit of a heavy one here.
this
So
is one of the more serious ones we've tackled.
yeah, so I really wanted to see uh, if we get some people in chat. So definitely let us know what you think. And again, of course, this is a podcast, but since it's just two of us, I am totally fine with talking to chat, getting some feedback there, and going through some of that if we get some good discussion here.
Well,
Um,
I don't know who Chat is, so
who's chat?
we
What?
don't we don't know her.
So my little thing here, and I again thanks Sav for bringing up this topic because I didn't have a whole lot of them to think about this week. So with game developers and publishers bringing so many titles to us, the need for categorization and streamlining new processes that have influenced game pricing in these interesting new ways, like game prices are changing in like it's kind of too much to handle right now. Like for example, at the top would be Sony's first party PS5 games bumping up to $70, right? That's been a thing for almost 2 years now. And then toward the bottom of that would be developers bringing out these very very little work done remakes coming out at bargain prices, like Chrono Cross Radical Dreamers Edition, which I really want. It's it's $20 for a digital copy of that on release day. Like we've seen all these reviews and stuff that are like, hey, this is basically the PC edition that came out, 3 or 4 years ago or whatever. So at the end of the day, there are so many little things affecting the prices of these games nowadays. And what should this mean to you, the fiscally responsible or not gamer? What's it mean to you, Saf?
For me, it's I'm not very shy about this. I'm a very frugal person. I pinch my pennies unless it comes to, cosmetics, because I gotta look good. If I finally buy a game, I have to look good in it. So that's where they get all my money. So when it comes to like all of the price bumps and everything, it's just like, I don't know. I have to really, really think about something. And a lot of times I find myself waiting for games to just come out on sale instead of just buying them day one, particularly if it's a game that I know I want to play, but it's not something I'm dying to like learn about, or if it's like a single player experience, because those ones, they go on sale for like a lot cheaper than like their day one pricing, especially if they're Sony, because then, like a year later, they'll appear on PlayStation Plus or whatever. So it's just like, am I going to pay $70 for a game I'll play once and then put away? Or am I just going to wait for it to come out and then get it for free? It's the same thing with stuff like Game Pass. But I will day one buy like remasters, remakes, things like that. Sequels that are like reboots for the series, like Streets of Rage, that new Shredder's Revenge game that's coming out. I'm definitely going to be buying that day one, whenever it is. Stuff like that. Stuff like indie stuff like Shantae. Like really small indie titles that are only like 20, $15. I will more likely buy those as soon as I can, rather than wait, because I know that those aren't going to go on sale. They're already super cheap. The only time anything like that goes on sale is if it's on Steam, and they'll go on sale for like, the summer, the fall. Steam for just existing sale, they have a sale for everything. Did you breathe? Oh, that's a sale. Oh, you're blinking at me? Early access. Bam, there you go. Steam.
Is it April 23rd?
Yeah, you have a sale.
Yeah, sure.
Like that's just how they roll. So um that's how I've been spending my money. And especially I have to be careful now too, because what inspired this topic for me to like, run it by you was that Sonic Origins just announced their pricing. And they have it's really interesting because they're all like Sonic 4 was episodic, right? So you had to buy each episode of the game, as far as I'm aware. I'm not sure if there was like a bundle or anything like that. You had to buy each of them as they came out um individually. And that's money on money on money. So now they've foregone episodes, right, to this tiered pricing. And we're kind of used to that already because, every game has like its regular edition, its deluxe edition, its digital deluxe edition, its platinum, premium, super, ultra, mega, hyper, EX, arcade, anniversary edition. So
Actual title.
actual title, not the project title, actual title. Uh, so we're used to like tiered, quote unquote, tiered pricing like that. But at the same time, we're used to content reflecting the price that we're getting for those appropriate tiers. Sonic Origin doesn't really do that. And most notable is that it's digital deluxe edition, which is $44.99, I'm sure. I'm pretty sure it's 34 or $44.99. That comes with like all of the animations on the main screen, the secret soundtracks and everything, all of the, super duper bonus quote unquote content, because it really shouldn't be bonus content. It should be, it's there. All of that for the digital deluxe edition, but it doesn't come with there are like some DLC items, right, that you can buy separately at launch. So first of all, why is there DLC at launch? That's my question. And then secondly, why doesn't the digital deluxe edition already include that? It's the digital, like it's the ultimate edition. It should have everything, right? I'm paying more money, so I should get all the content. So it's definitely different. I'm used to paying deluxe editions, like the super duper most expensive one. Like I bought the founders packs for Century, and regrettably the $100 pack for Godfall. All of my statuettes I have around here, I got for the deluxe edition for Soul Calibur. Sonic Mania, I got the deluxe edition for. You can see the thing back there, I think.
Yep.
If you're watching on Twitch right now. So I'm used to buying the deluxe edition, but I'm also used to getting all the content I deserve for spending the money on that. So Sonic Origins, where is it? That's what makes a game worth it to me. Am I getting all the content that I'm paying for? Like, is the content that I'm getting worth the price that I'm paying? And we kind of turn up our noses at PlayStation for boosting up their prices to $70 or whatever. But Super Nintendo games used to cost that much. You know, like back when they first came out, games were really expensive, $70, $80 for 16-bit, y'all.
Yeah.
So 16, 32-bit. So like me being like a 90s kid, I was born in 1990. I'm used to paying prices like that for video games, but I'm also used to them coming with everything.
Yeah.
So this really spurned me. I was just like, oh, this is gonna be so cool. I'm gonna get like all this stuff, and they were just like, ah! I don't think so. What's the sound from Sonic? Ah, ah! Like when you like slow down. They're like, no, 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 wrong way.
And
So
I don't want to bring up, but at the same time, Chocobo GP as well. How was
I,
that, Dev?
I tried to repress that because I've only played it the
That was $50, right?
well spent, well spent.
And you basically can't. You can earn almost nothing if you just had the free version.
Yeah, if you have the
And
free copy, you only get access to Chocobo, um, the Fat Chocobo, which is his name I can't remember. Actually, before he's introduced, they call him Fat Chocobo. And then the White Mage, Sharona, something like that. I can't remember her name either.
sure.
It's Shiro something, because White Mage, they got to fit white in there somehow. Shiro is white for Japanese, or Japanese for white, if you don't know. Um, but yeah, I only played it that one time, that one night. I beat the one story mode in like 4 or 5 hours, and then I played online for a little bit, and then that was it. And it's really weird because it's $50, but then it also has the battle pass system. Like,
Yeah.
but at least it's not like
And
Capcom, because Capcom you pay full price for a game and then they lock half the content behind paywalls for the future. So
just
everything's
in case.
already on the disc and everything. You
Yeah.
pay for everything. You just don't have access to everything. So I guess I've been kind of dealing with stuff like this for a while.
True. It's just evolving in newer, horrible ways, I guess. Um, like I think somebody had a long Twitter thread about Chocobo, and it was something like hundreds of hours to get like not even half of the content that you would have for the paid version. Like, and it is a glorified mobile game. To be honest, I played a solid 45 minutes of the
It's
free
definitely
version,
mobile. Like
and
I
it's
would
like,
not
wow.
have a problem seeing this on the phone. Like it would definitely make the migration very, very easily.
Yeah. Yeah, that was an experience, and it was not a fun one. And even Japan didn't like it as much as they anticipated, because everybody, when it was announced, it was like, oh shit, Chocobo's coming back. All right, let's do this. But it actually um, it started off at like sixth on the sales charts for Japan, something like that, and that was a bad showing for them, compared to what they thought it would be. So
I think that they thought
hopefully
that
some.
like coasting on nostalgia would give them all the sales and stuff. Because when they first
Yeah.
announced it, I was like, I loved this game on the PS1. I loved it. I loved it. I loved it. And I was super excited to get it on the Switch and take it with me everywhere. And then they were just like, yeah, so here's the free mode. It comes with a piece of paper, and that's it. You could look at the
Oh my
art.
god.
Yeah.
The code in boxes. Oh my god. That's also another Switch problem with pricing right now. Um for those of you that aren't aware, I'm a major Switch physical collector, and a lot of Switch Switch fans are that way. And there are games being released, even remakes, that might have a legitimate version. Like, for example, Bioshock. Guess what? Bioshock Collection is out. They had a normal physical cartridge version, and then just for the fun of it, they decided to reprint the boxes with just a code in the box. So I beg of you, if you're interested in something like the Bioshock Collection, and there's a few other ones. I think they're mostly like 2K titles, but you really have to look at them. They legally have to say that it's a code in a box now, thankfully. But uh, when I originally bought the Bioshock collection, I got the cartridge version, and it had Bioshock on the cartridge, and then 2 downloads. Um, but now it's all downloads, and they made it since it was reprinted. They made it like I think they made it 25 or 30 as the base price when the original was on sale for $20 like all the time and $15 even. So it's just a clusterfuck of bad times right
Yeah.
now.
I think Bayonetta 3 was the same way because there was like a or not 3, but 2. There was like a Bayonetta
Mhm.
2 combo with number 1. And so you got the
Mhm.
cartridge for 2, but then the code for 1. And there was also like a Bayonetta and Vanquish combo
Yep.
pack
Yep.
that I think had the same deal going on. I think. Because that one I don't actually own. So I don't know if it came with like a CD or anything like that. Um, but it's like we're paying money for all these games and we're getting just like the physical copies of it or whatever, and we just get a piece of paper. So I mean, we don't even get instruction booklets anymore. Everything's on. You have to like go through the menu and click it and open it up. Like, why even give us a box now? There's no box art on the inside anymore. There's hardly any box
Yeah.
art on the outside. There's no instruction booklet. Like for the instance of Nintendo Switch, is the Switch tax just to have a box that says Nintendo on it? Because you're not
Yeah.
giving us anything else.
Yeah. And it's funny, it's definitely another subject. I could do a whole pod on just physical collecting. But
You could.
like
Like you have more stuff than I do, and as you can see if you're watching now on Twitch, I have a lot of stuff. So
but there's things like that that are they're just changing because the industry wants it to. Like the big players in the industry just want it to. Like Ubisoft insisting that NFTs are still a part of their their upcoming stuff. And it's like, dude, everybody's already told you to shut the hell up about this. No, we don't want it. Um, and we as consumers have to make a little bit of a stand there, right? And so it's really about being that informed consumer. Like you said, you've really got to pare it down to not only what you want, what you want, but if it's one of the reasons why we make sure to talk about the devs and the publishers specifically, and if we have one that we see just pumping out consistently awesome stuff, then we're gonna keep praising them and say, hey, give this fucking company $15. That's all they're asking for, and they just gave me a game that I played for 40 hours. That's worth it. That's worth it to 90% of gamers out there, right? Um, so at the end of the day, we just got to be smarter and a little bit pickier. And I know that a ton of people out there. Elden Ring might be the only game they bought this year, and as a hardcore gamer, I can't say that I'm gonna do that. And I'm definitely not in a rich bracket either, but I do want to support the industry in the best ways possible. So yeah, we just gotta make some decisions, and try to bring each other up in this industry. Um, and to my point, uh, even bargain titles have been hit hard in the pricing changes. Like last year, Nintendo put out the rule that their eShop had to have the lowest price a game could go was $1.99. That's been a rule for a little over a year now, or just a year exactly now, due to some scammy games, and some heavy manipulation of the best-selling screen that they have on the eShop, where there were some games that were selling for 9 fucking cents.
what? What's even the
Yeah,
point at that point? Is it just to like get your game out there? Like why? I
it's it's literally to game the system because the eShop is
It's a leaderboard.
so
It's not a store. It's a leaderboard.
yeah, it's so featureless that the best you can do is go to, all right, what's the best sellers right now, or what's the deals going on right now, and the ones that are cheapest are going to be up top. Generally, the ones that have been selling the best are going to be at the top. So, with the fact that it loads like a fucking freight train,
Yeah.
uh, like people aren't going to go through every page of the eShop. I will, but not everybody is going to find the best deals. Um, and it's wild. It's wild seeing the trends that are being set on bargain titles. I mean, there's a lot of great stuff out there. Just looking at the sales from last week, the Shin Megami Tensei series was major. Well, I think it was Atlas and Sega games, not just Shin Megami Tensei, but especially those titles were on sale on 3DS, and they were the best sellers over the past 2 weeks by a large margin on as far as digital sales go. And that's all it takes sometimes for gamers to see things like that. Um, and even though those games are actually on sale twice a year, Capcom games are also on sale 4 to 6 times every year on the eShop.
Depending on
But
how
a lot
many
of
Street Fighter
people,
editions they want to launch, yeah.
yeah, and a lot of people, they have that FOMO, or they have that feeling that holy shit, I'm not gonna get this at a better price, and sometimes that's true. But unless you're really paying attention and you're constantly aware of this kind of stuff, you're not gonna know, and you're just gonna pull the trigger when you see that holy shit, that game's $8. That I know that used to be $40. And we've just got to be better. We've
Yeah.
just got to be better about that kind of stuff. Um,
To your point about the
yeah,
Switch eShop, the the Switch eShop is probably the worst eShop that they've ever launched. Like it loads super crappily, like you said. I never want to browse any, like I have to go search. I use the touchscreen. I use handheld because I don't want to scroll with my controller because it takes 5 years. So I touch the search function and then I touch type what I want, exactly what I want, so that nothing else shows up and nothing else loads, and then buy like exactly the thing I'm looking for. Which, you don't go to a store. I mean, you go to stores like Target do the same thing, right? Because if you go to a Target, if you don't get exactly what you came for, you're gonna walk out of there spending like $500. So, but generally speaking, you go into the store, you want to browse the wares, you want to see what they've got to offer. You can't do that on the Switch eShop because if you do, you're gonna be there until the next Cretaceous period because time is cyclical. So, like, it's ridiculous because the Wii shop was so good, especially like the virtual console portion, like that. It's it was such a good interface how everything worked, and like the Wii had the worst internet that Nintendo's ever provided. So like, what's going on? Why has it devolved to this level of stuff? I don't want to spend money on the eShop
yeah,
because time is money, and I'm already spending my time, so I'm already spending my money. So come on, streamline it. Use that Nintendo magic, y'all.
right.
Especially with the new rule, right? That should get a lot of shovelware off the shelves of the
Slowly
eShop.
but
So
surely. Yeah,
yeah, actionable content.
yeah. Although I will say that I have found a few great $2 games, but also I've talked about two bad $2 games in the past month of podcasts. So
I mean, you do get what you pay for. That's our
yeah,
topic
I
today.
the one I didn't was that Monument game, that fucking Doom clone that was just horrible. Just don't. If you ever see that, you ever see Monument, just don't buy it. It's trash. I never say that, but it is trash.
Alexa, how do you delete games that other people have uploaded to the shop?
Exactly. Um, but yeah, it sucks, but at the end of the day, it's something that we've just got to be smarter consumers, and we've got to help each other out, and that's one of the perks of being here at Party Invite. We try to inform you guys on the best kind of things to go after. Um, we always have something going on in the sales and deals channel on the Discord here.
And it's
Uh,
not always Game Pass.
yeah, it's very often, but not always Game Pass in that news and deals section. Uh, but damn, I mean, pricing is just all over the place. And last week, Tegan did all the itch.io stuff for the last couple of brunch specials. You know, that's where it's really at. If we could help you find a game that's worth playing, that's free or $4 because this single person over here decided to make this passion project over 4 or 5 years and release it on itch, like help that person out. They're gonna be putting their effort, putting their everything into this game, versus 240 people at Ubisoft just trying to grift you for NFTs. you know, um, but yeah, there's so many things going on. I don't know if we have any last words, but I'm more than down to just BS with any other part of this topic.
I mean, I don't have anything else to say really beyond what I expressed earlier. Uh, I do want to add that when it comes to stuff like this that has tiered pricing, the digital deluxe, the regular, all that stuff, and then they come out with like a physical collector's edition or something like that, like the stuff that you like to buy. It feels kind of also like a slap in the face because first of all, they don't announce that ahead of time, so we don't know whether or not we should wait to buy the day one launch version. Because if we learned that hey, there's something that you might like better, maybe it's a better deal or something like that, and it comes with like all this really cool stuff like a T-shirt, postcards, all that stuff, whatever. You could wait and buy that. You're still giving us money, and we're still doing business. Like let us know because people like you and I will happily spend money on the crazy physical $200 pressed vinyl editions of stuff. Like, we'll do that. Just let us know it's coming
Yeah,
so that we don't have 2 copies of the game. I have 3 copies
for
of
sure.
Monster Hunter because of this. So,
See, that was a little bit of your fault, but
well, you know what? We don't have to say that out loud. So,
but you're right though. I mean, and that's that's a still a major thing. For those of you that don't know that are in chat, if you're not familiar with limited run games and what they do, um, to bring it to exactly to your point, they've been in some real shit lately. So they've been just pumping out and announcing new releases just to distract people. Um,
oh,
but
the
they had
Blizzard
a
technique. Ah, I know it well.
yeah, they had some real fan backlash because of their Star Wars releases. Um, what was it? Is it Axis Game or Arxis Games? I forget who it is, the exact name of who does the Star Wars re-releases, but um, Limited Run announced like Jedi Knight Academy, or Jedi Knight 2, Jedi Academy, Star Wars Racer, Episode 1 Racer, Republic Commando, all those kind of things. They announced like 4 different versions of each from $35 to I think the max was like the 200 or $250 versions, which do come with some amazing things. That's plain and simple, and you don't get them anywhere else. But then the people that were sitting at the $35 tier or the $70 tier, they look back when the publisher decided to also release the Best Buy versions and the Walmart versions and shit like that, and they did that, and it's like, hey, we're releasing this at retail. It's going to be $30. It's going to be on sale in like 2 months for $20, and you're not going to have to wait 7 months or even 10 or 12 months like you do for a limited run release. And that pissed off a lot of people. um, and dually, because at the end of the day, sometimes it's just I just want the game on a cart, period.
Yeah.
And however I can get that, the quickest I can get that, that's the way I want it. And it's still ongoing, and they have changed a couple policies, but not a whole lot. Um,
Like they're still gonna assemble everything by atom by atom by atom, so you get it in 2,000 years.
yeah,
That's gonna be their limited run touch of
that's
approval.
right. Right now, I think it's the Castlevania collection that's getting absolutely shit on, because if you hadn't seen, I shared it like a billion times when it was announced, but like they had this amazing shadow box version. It's like a 2-inch thick box that's got this 3D shit happening, and it's got the beautiful Castlevania classic art on as the entirety of the box. Just absolutely beautiful. Like these editions, the $200 edition, the $150 editions, amazing things. And again, you can't get those specific options out of the 4 tiers or whatever that they had, um, anywhere else. But those are behind by like 6 months, and with the pandemic and shipping being a huge issue, um, especially for a lot of these limited companies are actually overseas. Um, a lot of companies are having real issues, especially with like Brexit as well was a huge thing that fucked up a lot of delivery services over there. Um, and at the end of the day, it's making it hard on literally every part of the process. On delivery, it's bumping all the prices up. You know, it's not just normal United States inflation bullshit. It's the world sucks right now bullshit, and everything is going to go up. Um, and it all comes down to the consumer. So you know, we've got to make a wiser choice. We've got to make better decisions and help those companies that are making the closest to right decisions. Uh, you know, like I constantly talk about special reserve games. I just ordered Disc Room and
Ooh,
the
good one.
Talos Principle physical editions, and they are going to be amazing. I'm going to have them in less than 2 weeks because the initial pre-order was like 9 months ago, and I knew that I'm not going to go for the initial pre-order because that's going to take forever to get the fucking game. And they're shipping right now, and they had what's called their second chance sale, and I knew that was going to happen. So I said, you know, I do want those games. If I miss my opportunity, then I miss my opportunity. If all the pre-orders sold, whatever. But if that game is successful enough, it actually has a good chance at getting a normal retail release. So at the end of the day, it was mild. Both of those games, Talos Principle and Disc Room, were mildly successful at Special Reserve Games. But when they do this second chance sale, they actually had 1,200 copies of each game
Oh wow.
still available, and I'm like, yes, I will take that now, thank you. Um, and so I'm not missing out, you know. The only time that I pulled the trigger day one was the Carrion release, and that was because they also sent out digital codes the same day, so I
Oh,
didn't
what a
lose.
great idea.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah, and unfortunately, they only did that with, like, 2 releases.
Oh,
But, because I ended up getting 2 codes. Nobody knows that, though. Uh, but yeah, like, that was the thing that was negotiated with the developer and stuff like that, and the publisher, and the companies involved made the right decisions, you know? So I wanted to support that. Um,
I think
and
the
now I'm
last thing I
getting
ordered, like something like that from from Limited Runs or anything, was it
mhm.
Double Dragon? I remember somebody, I think
Double
it was
Dragon
you that called
Neon
me,
was
yeah.
on limited run, yeah.
I think you called me out on it. You were like, well, I guess I know what you're getting. And then I think I actually got it. I can't remember if it was that or if it was like a Shantae thing.
Oh, yeah.
But I it's gonna arrive 3 years from now anyway, so like I would have already forgotten. But I already forgot. So like what,
Is it still coming?
watch, I'm gonna move like a year from now and then some lucky person is just gonna get my limited run stuff.
You should probably go check your
I
email.
should probably go check my email. I think I'll
If
do
you
that
did
now.
if you did order Double Dragon Neon, then I think that one is another one that's in the production hell. But, yeah, like, it's just wild how things are working out, and we've just gotta be smarter and be a little bit more patient with the right companies and, you know, push companies to do the right thing. Nintendo for Xenoblade Chronicles 3, their new special edition version of that is going to be locked behind uh, the Nintendo Switch Online, just like their retro controllers are.
Oh,
So that's a huge thing that stops potential scalpers. Like people have been bitching about not being able to get a 64 controller or the SNES controllers for Switch Online because of just an absolutely limited quantity. And so um, we also saw that Metroid Dread's special edition was just scalped an ungodly amount. So Nintendo's like, sorry, we'll fix
I
this
mean, y'all
with
did this to
Xenoblade.
yourselves. Like, stop trying to game the system and then the system won't game you back. And then you get mad about it. Like, just be a good customer. Just please. Because we can't take it anymore. We can't take all of the shipping issues and the scalping prevention like techniques and stuff because we just want our stuff. We want them
Yeah.
at reasonable prices, and we want them to have everything that we expect to pay for. Like, that's it at the end of the day. So,
Exactly. Well, Sav, we got a podcast here. Any last words or anything, and then you can do the outro if you don't.
no, I'm all good. The last thing I had to talk about was the thing that we just talked about. So, yeah.
Cool, cool.
So, y'all,
All
this
right.
has been the Party Invite podcast. Thank y'all for listening and watching and joining us however you are, whichever platform you're listening, if it's now or if it's later. Thank y'all. Um, Here is your weekly reminder, because you know we got to do it every week. Let y'all know where to find us. You can join us, find the rest of our content and our community by going to www.partyinvite.games. I have been SovereignSyd, and due to shipping issues, Tropical Smoothie is out of blueberries, so now I gotta go buy the blueberry DLC for my smoothies. I'll see y'all later. And so will the camera for Carlos.
Bye.
Bye.